God!
Wake them up! Tell them! Cusacks, Carmelites, Welches! You tell them all, what they did to me.
Buddy, stop it!
What they did to this whole block, this whole country.
They're gonna call the police
We
this
went
time.
to Vietnam to stop communism. We shot women and children.
You didn't shoot women and children. What do you say?
What said the war? Communism, the insidious evil. They told us to go.
Yes, that's what they told us.
Thou shalt not kill, Mom. Thou shalt not kill women and children. Thou shalt not kill, remember? Isn't that what you taught us? Isn't that what they taught us?
Stop it! Stop it! I don't want you in this house. You're out of this house.
Ron, come on now. You made your point, now stop. No! I haven't made my point. You tell her, Dad. They're killing everyone now.
I didn't force you to go.
Yes, you did! Yes, you did!
Oliver Stone's Born on the 4th of July will always have a special place in my heart. It came out in 1989 when I was just 13. And it was the first drama I'd ever seen that really moved me. In fact, it moved me so much that I wrote a review of it for my junior high newspaper, the first movie review I ever wrote. But when the issue came out, the school was flooded with angry calls from parents who couldn't believe that a junior high paper could encourage kids to see such a movie. At the time, I found this to be really confusing. After all, if I, as a 13-year-old, could be touched by this true story of Ron Kovic, a conservative, all-American boy who was paralyzed in Vietnam and forced to question and confront his faith in God, country, and government, why wouldn't my fellow students feel the same way? Of course, in hindsight, the film is a hard R, with graphic violence, drug use, some pointed politics, and the whole Lost Year in Mexico part where all Kovic does is drink tequila, have sex with hookers, and swear. So it makes more sense now. But Born on the 4th of July is probably my favorite Oliver Stone movie, and it's by far the best thing Tom Cruise has ever done. Now, at a time when we're stuck in another needless, unwinnable war, with Republicans and teabaggers claiming they alone can define what makes a true patriot, Born on the 4th of July is a movie that deserves to be seen. The film starts with Kovic as a little boy growing up on Long Island, and Tom Cruise, in a performance that earned him an Oscar nomination he really deserved to win, plays Kovic from high school all the way into middle age. Young Kovic, who seems destined for great things, volunteers for Vietnam with the encouragement of his conservative and very religious mom, and joins the Marines, not wanting to miss out on a chance to fight a war, defeat communism, and prove his patriotism. But as everyone was to find out, Vietnam would prove to be a confusing, grinding debacle, where Kovic saw the horrors of war firsthand before being paralyzed from the chest down. He returns to the US to face rehabilitation in an appalling VA hospital, and the reality of a country whose citizens had either turned against the war or no longer cared that we were fighting it. Alienated from his family and everyone else, Kovic heads to Mexico, where he falls in with a group of expat Vietnam vets who have abandoned the States to live out their days drinking, playing cards, and sleeping with hookers. But after hitting bottom and realizing that he doesn't want to die a drunken whoremonger, Kovic returns to the US, attempts to make amends for the wrongs he's done, and becomes a leader in the anti-war movement, where he and several other veterans famously took the floor during Richard Nixon's acceptance speech at the 1972 Republican National Convention in Miami. Oliver Stone, who won the Best Director Oscar for Born on the 4th of July, described the film as a story about a boy who grows up with certain beliefs about America and thinks that being an American hero means being a war hero. But when confronted with the realities of war, how unheroic it truly is, and the loss of his body, then going through a personal hell as his country, his government, his religion, and even his family abandon him, this boy grows up to become a better man and a different kind of hero, fighting for America in a different and more important way than he ever thought he would. And that's what I continue to love about Born on the 4th of July, over 20 years since I first saw it. How it shows the difficult, painful process that many of us go through, especially progressives, to see our country for what it truly is, to recognize and seek forgiveness for its crimes, and redefine our sense of patriotism. To recognize that America is not an infallible God or mommy figure the way conservatives see it, and that we're not babies or worshippers in its thrall who dare not question it. And that to be a true patriot, we have to take responsibility for this country and fight like hell, sometimes against our own government, to ensure that America's actions always reflect its values. I'm Jonathan Kim, and this is a Rethink Review.